You were there. You felt it. Every time she held you, your brain flooded with oxytocin, building the deepest biological bond you will ever experience in your lifetime. It was everything. Where did it go? The memories vanished. They evaporated completely. You spent thousands of hours staring into the eyes of the person who meant absolute survival to you, yet you cannot retrieve a single second of it. It feels wrong. Why would nature design us to forget love? We trust ourselves. We trust our brains. We believe that the most emotionally significant moments of our lives are burned into our neurology forever to shape who we become as adults. We are wrong. But what really happens? You were born fragile. You were completely helpless. Your entire universe was reduced to the warmth of one person who fed you, held you, and kept the terrifying cold world at bay. You loved her. Do you remember her face back then? You do not. It is gone. The first 3 years of your life have been wiped from your conscious mind as if they never occurred at all. The silence is deafening. Is it a glitch in the system? The answer is stranger. We call it childhood amnesia. It is a universal human phenomenon that erases our beginnings, and for over a century, the brightest minds have struggled to understand why it happens. The truth is shocking. What if the deletion is the point? People blamed trauma. They blamed emotional repression. In the late 19th century, a man named Sigmund Freud first coined the term infantile amnesia, believing our minds actively hid these early memories to protect us from intense emotions. He thought we were hiding. Was Freud right? He was completely wrong. Science has moved on. Modern research reveals that your brain is not repressing your early childhood out of fear, but rather tearing it down to build something fundamentally new. It is construction. How does this construction work? Think of your brain. It is wildly overgrown. When you are a baby, your neurons are firing constantly, creating millions of messy, chaotic pathways to make sense of every new sound, color, and touch. It is overwhelming. How do we survive the noise? We prune the branches. We make some space. The memories of being held and comforted are real, but they are recorded in a primitive neural language that your adult brain can no longer read or access. The bridge is burned. When does the bridge collapse? Dr. Carol Peterson knows. She tracks the timeline. In her fascinating longitudinal studies, she discovered that young children actually can remember their infant years vividly, but right around age 7, those memories rapidly and permanently vanish. The wipe is scheduled. Why age 7? You build an ego. You become a person. Around this critical age, your brain shifts from merely observing the world to constructing a chronological narrative of who you are and where you belong in society. You need a story. Can a baby tell a story? A baby cannot. A baby only feels. Because infants do not yet have a firm grasp of language or a clear sense of a separate self, their experiences are stored purely as emotions and sensory flashes. It is raw data. Where does the data go? The data is overwritten. It is paved over. Deep inside your brain sits a structure called the hippocampus, which acts as the master control room for organizing and storing your explicit, conscious memories. It is a busy place. What is it doing in a baby? It is growing wildly. It is out of control. 2 brilliant neuroscientists named Dr. Paul Franklin and Dr. Sheena Jocelyn discovered that the sheer rate of new cell creation in an infant's hippocampus is exactly what causes the forgetting. It is biological gentrification. How do new cells destroy old memories? It is a space issue. It is structural chaos. As massive amounts of new neurons are rapidly generated to help your brain learn how to walk, talk, and survive, they disrupt the fragile circuits that held your earliest memories. The old roads are destroyed. Is the cost worth it? Your brain says yes. Your brain prioritizes learning. To become a highly functional adult who can navigate a complex modern world, you must sacrifice the fuzzy emotional records of your infancy to make room for complex cognitive architecture. You trade memories for intelligence. Is the love lost forever? The pictures are gone. The sounds are gone. You cannot close your eyes and remember the exact smell of your mother's skin when she rocked you to sleep during a thunderstorm in your second year of life. The specific file is deleted. But what about the feeling? This is the twist. This is the secret. The explicit conscious memory is deleted, but the emotional foundation those moments built becomes the permanent invisible architecture of your entire nervous system. It never leaves you. How does it stay? The love becomes structural. It becomes your baseline. Every time you were comforted, your brain learned that the universe is a safe place, that connection is possible, and that distress will eventually be resolved. You learned how to trust. Where is that trust stored? It lives in your body. It lives in your reflexes. Psychologists call this implicit memory, a type of unconscious knowledge that dictates how you respond to stress, how you love your partners, and how you view yourself. It is your operating system. Who installed the code? She installed the code. She wrote the foundation. The thousands of hours your mother spent holding you did not vanish into nothingness. They dissolved into your very identity to become the quiet confidence you carry into every room. You are the memory. Can you see it now? You walk every day. You do it perfectly. You do not remember the agonizing effort of your early falls because that intense struggle was converted into automatic, effortless, physical competence that you now take for granted. It is permanent. Why would love be any different? Look at your life today. Look at your relationships. You constantly obsess over capturing every single moment on your smartphone, terrified that if you do not record an event, it will somehow lose its meaning or fade away entirely. You hoard digital memories. Does the photo matter? The photo is fragile. The photo is external. We live in a society obsessed with documented proof of our experiences, yet the most profoundly shaping moments of our existence happen before we could even hold a camera. We are looking in the wrong place. What should we look at? Look at your resilience. Look at your capacity for warmth. When you instinctively know how to soothe a crying friend, or when you feel a sudden, inexplicable sense of peace in a quiet room, you are accessing the ghost of your mother's early love. It is still working. Do we need the video? We do not. We have the result. We spend so much energy mourning the fact that we cannot remember our early childhoods, failing to realize that forgetting is the ultimate proof that the love was successfully absorbed, the medicine dissolved. Why do you forget the medicine? You forget it because you are cured. You forget it because you grew. If you had to consciously remember every single time you were held, fed, and comforted, your mind would be too heavy to move forward and build a life of your own. The slate must be wiped. Are you ready to let it go? Evolution is ruthlessly efficient. Evolution is a strict accountant. Nature does not waste valuable metabolic energy maintaining systems or massive data storage that do not directly contribute to your ongoing survival and ability to reproduce. It is a harsh reality. Why would nature delete love? It deletes the specific events. It keeps the core lessons. If early humans retained vivid memories of their total helplessness, the terror of loud noises, and the desperate vulnerability of infancy, they might be paralyzed by fear. The amnesia is a shield. What does the shield protect? It protects your courage. It protects your future. By erasing the period of your life where you were nothing but a fragile prey animal entirely dependent on a giant protector, your brain allows you to step into adulthood feeling independent and capable. You forget your weakness. Is it a lie? It is a necessary illusion. It is a biological gift. The erasure of those first 3 years allows you to build an ego that believes it is strong, separate, and in complete control of its own destiny. You need this confidence. How else could you survive the world? The illusion creates a paradox. The illusion creates an ache. We walk around with a vague, unnameable nostalgia, a subconscious homesickness for a time of perfect, unconditional safety that we can feel in our bones but cannot picture in our minds. We miss it. What exactly do we miss? We miss the absolute surrender. We miss the total trust. In our modern adult lives, we are constantly stressed, endlessly negotiating boundaries, and desperately trying to prove our worth to employers, partners, and strangers. It is exhausting. Don't you want to rest? You rested back then. You rested completely. For 3 years, your only job was to exist, and you were rewarded with warmth, food, and a level of devoted attention you will spend the rest of your life trying to replicate. It was a brief paradise. Can we ever go back? We try to go back constantly. We seek it in romance. When we fall deeply in love with a partner, we often use baby talk. We cuddle in fetal positions, and we crave the exact kind of skin-to-skin soothing that our mothers provided. We are chasing a ghost. Is it a foolish chase? It is deeply human. It is biologically wired. We are trying to reactivate those dormant implicit memories, searching for a modern surrogate to make us feel as infinitely safe as we did before our hippocampus wiped the hard drive. We want the feeling back. Will we ever find it? We find fragments of it. We find brief flashes. But no adult relationship can ever truly match the asymmetrical, total devotion of a mother tending to her completely helpless infant with zero expectations of anything in return. The original bond is unmatched. Why does this make us sad? It makes us sad because it feels lost. It feels like a theft. To realize that the purest, most uncomplicated love you have ever received is permanently locked behind an impenetrable neurological firewall feels deeply unfair. You want to thank her. How can you thank her? You thank her by living. You thank her by thriving. The fact that your brain was strong enough to prune those memories, grow new neurons, and build a complex adult mind is the ultimate biological proof that her love worked perfectly. You are the monument. What does a monument do? A monument stands tall. A monument simply endures. It does not need to consciously remember the hands of the workers who laid its foundation, because its very existence is a testament to their labor, their care, and their unyielding dedication. You do not need to remember. Do you understand now? The deletion was not a mistake. The deletion was the final step. Your brain had to dismantle the messy scaffolding of early childhood memory so the permanent structure of your adult personality could finally stand on its own. The work was finished. What is left behind? Consider the sheer scale. Consider the massive volume. A baby is awake for thousands of hours in those first 3 years, processing a terrifying tsunami of novel sensory inputs every single second of every single day. It is a data overload. Where could it all possibly go? The brain compresses it. The brain efficiently distills it. Instead of keeping a messy, chaotic, chronological video log of every single time your mother kissed your forehead, it averages all those interactions into a single, highly efficient concept. The concept is safety. Is safety enough? Safety is absolutely everything. Safety is the essential bedrock. Without that compressed conceptual foundation of safety, a child develops a nervous system wired for constant threat detection, leading to a lifetime of debilitating anxiety and guardedness. The foundation dictates the house. What kind of house are you? You are a sturdy house. You are a resilient house because she held you through the darkest nights you cried, and because she fed you when you were hungry. Your walls are thick enough to withstand the violent storms of adult life. The house is built. Do we care about the scaffolding? We discard the temporary scaffolding. We throw it all away. Just as a finished skyscraper has no use for the wooden frames and temporary cranes that helped build it, your mature brain has no use for the explicit memories of your infantile dependence. The crane is gone. Are you still standing? You are standing strong. You are moving forward today. But there is one final, strange neurological quirk that happens when you finally hold a tiny, helpless infant of your own in your arms for the very first time. the cycle restarts. What happens to your brain then? Your brain changes once again. Your brain powerfully reconnects. When a parent holds their own infant, the smells and sounds trigger massive oxytocin releases that can briefly illuminate the darkest, oldest corners of the parent's implicit memory network. It is an echo. Do you feel the echo? You feel it instantly. You feel an overwhelming instinct. You possess an instinctual knowledge of exactly how to rock, how to shush, and how to sway. Movements you learned from the forgotten phantom of your own mother's arms. The software activates. Who wrote the software? She wrote it decades ago. She programmed it into your cells. And now you are passing the exact same invisible code into your child, knowing full well that in 3 years, they too will forget every single sacrifice you made for them. The memory will vanish. Does it matter that they forget? It does not matter at all. It is the ultimate selfless act. You pour your entire soul into a tiny human being, fully aware that they will never consciously remember the sleepless nights, the endless rocking, or the desperate love you unconditionally gave them. It is a pure biological gift. Why do we give it? We give it because it is the design. We give it because we must. The survival of the human species depends entirely on this beautiful, heartbreaking transaction of giving everything to a mind that is destined to wipe the ledger perfectly clean. The debt is forgiven. What happens to the love? It shapes the beautiful future. It shapes all of humanity. Every generation forgets the specific tenderness of their beginning, only to unconsciously replicate it when their turn comes to hold a fragile, crying universe in their arms. The circle is unbroken. Are you ready to see the truth? Your early memories were not stolen. Your early memories were never repressed. They were meticulously digested and transformed into the very fabric of your adult identity, fueling the growth of a brain complex enough to wonder where they went. Your brain deleted the memory because it no longer needed a record to prove what your body already knows. You were there. Every week we open a new file, a new truth about why humans feel, think, and act the way they do. If you want in, subscribe. The next one might change how you see everything.